Good evening and welcome to your English news package with radio and television Tonga for the hour. Making headlines, the body of missing men Talanoa Leakona Lemoto found dead at the Tuimatamoana market. Prime Minister urges graduates at TIOE to commit their best as the future of the students depends on them. And the 2 Tongan scholars in New Zealand amongst the 8 recipients of the Prime Minister's Pacific Youth Award for 2022. Now for the stories in details. The body of missing men Talanoa Leakona Lemoto of Hala Ovave has finally been found. His body along with his car was found at Tuimatamoana this afternoon. Just a warning, the footage is sensitive and we represent the news with utmost respect to the deceased and his family at this time. Waiwhanotu Ponla was at the scene and filed these reports.
Police have found the body of the 35-year-old man from Hala Ovave who has been missing since last Wednesday. Police found the body of Talanoa Leakona Lemoto together with his motor car underneath the sea at Whaua Wharf this afternoon. He was found dead after almost 1 week of search by Tonga Police, family and friends with ex-students of Tonga College, as he is currently a teacher at the school. Police have conveyed their sympathy to the wife of Lemoto and his family for their loss and appreciated their help and assistance during the search operation to Lemoto. However, police continue investigation into the nature of the incident. Waiwhanotu Ponla for Radio and Television Tonga News.
The Prime Minister has motivated teachers to do their very best. The Prime Minister, Honourable Huakavami Liku, was the guest of honour at the Tonga Institute of Education's graduation ceremony this morning, where he urged the graduates to do their very best, as the future of school children depends on their services. Makake tells you more.
The Prime Minister, who is also the Minister of Education and Training, is concerned as there are many social issues and school children are prone to these issues. However, this can be resolved by good teachers.
The world economy no longer pays for what you know, but for what you can do with what you know. This challenges not only the content of what we teach, but the ways in which we teach. Graduates, you are the kind of individuals that Tonga needs to build both our public and private sectors. We need to make a difference. We need those values of Whaiako Mā Tonga, planted in you in the past 2 or 3 years, need to be tailor-watered and to be flourished to contribute to the mental, physical and spiritual development of our children and eventually the growth of our kingdom. We need to stand together, especially during difficult times, like the challenges of the COVID-19. We need to find new ways to enhance those skills and knowledge enrooted in you during your time at TIOE, to be able to make a difference in the lives of our children, whom they will be entrusted under your care to mold and nurture in years to come.
He added that despite the experience teachers might have, the results will depend if they have love.
The critical need everywhere in the world is for education to prepare students to lead successful, fulfilling lives. In today's world, this means providing them with relevant educational experiences to nurture their passion, problem-solving abilities, and higher level thinking skills, including critical thinking and creativity. The best solution involves teachers, students, schools, and the whole communities. My fellow graduates, your success today means you have been equipped with the appropriate knowledge and skill to nurture the passions, abilities, and talents of our students, that they could become successful in the future.
The Prime Minister also presented certificates to 81 students that completed their studies at the Teachers Training College this year. 54 students completed their diploma and 4 students received their bachelor's in ECE. All graduates this year are employed.
Can we make Tonga resilient? This is part of the Prime Minister, Honourable Huakavami Liku's address during the official launching of the National Planning for Tonga 2022 this morning. The guest of honour at the programme was the Crown Prince, His Royal Highness Tupoto'a Ulukalala. Mark Ake again with that story.
The Honourable Prime Minister Hawaka Miliko highlights and urges civil servants to carry out their duties with the best of their abilities, as there are challenges affecting people's lives, and as such, their roles as on each government ministries is key, as Tonga is vulnerable to global issues such as the effects of climate change.
All stakeholders are well aware that the adverse impact of climate change are real and are expected to become more frequent and disastrous. 11 months ago, the Hunga Tonga Hunga Hapai eruptions and the tsunami devastated our country, with many of our people forced to reside in temporary shelters and some still in the process of gradually relocated to safer grounds. Our vulnerability towards such events is unavoidable. However, with the right tools to deal with these destructive impacts of nature's and climate change, it requires us all to act with much urgency and act cohesively. The theme of this forum urges us that our focus should not only be on the magnitude and devastation of natural hazards, but also on our responsibility to remain vigilant and ensure that all our development efforts are risk-informed.
This morning's program is a plan set for government ministries with assistance from donor partners such as the United Nations International Children Emergency Fund, or UNICEF, and the United Nations Population Fund, or UNFPA. Speaking at the program was the UNICEF Pacific Country Officer, Rosny Pasu, says they are fully committed to respond to any requests for assistance from the Kingdom of Tonga to help and empower young children. He adds that following the volcanic eruption in January and the lockdown restrictions due to the COVID-19, and the issues affecting children were on the rise, such as domestic violence cases and abuse in Tonga.
We know with the global pandemic that we've seen now with data coming in that decades of progress is in jeopardy. We've seen growing poverty, gender equality, violence, discrimination. All of it has been on the rise. We're also witnessing conflict, protracted displacement, increasing fragility, and also a worsening climate crisis. All of that means that children's futures hang in balance. With the pandemic, for UNICEF here in the Pacific and in Tonga, we've seen that the combination of the pandemic and also the Hunga Tonga, Hunga Hapai eruption and tsunami has taught us some very valuable lessons. The volcanic eruption affected 84% of the Tongan population. And for us, the number that is very significant is the 36,500 children. For us, that's a significant number, considering that nearly 40% of the Tonga's total population are under 18, and so are children.
The National Planning 2022 theme is a more progressive Tonga supporting higher quality of life for all through risk-informed development planning. Reporting for Radio and Television Tonga News, I'm Vahavanatu Pola.
There are even more opportunities for mosquitoes to be fertilized in the meantime due to heavy rain in Tonga. The Health Ministry is concerned as mosquitoes are spreading other diseases such as dengue fever, chikungunya and Zika.
The Chief Public Health Inspector, Selafa'u, says with the borders open to people overseas, they are concerned that anyone coming from Fiji might have the virus of the dengue fever. This is due to the fact that dengue is rising in the region, especially in Fiji. Fa'u says there are different types of mosquitoes here in Tonga, with 2 types in particular spreading this disease. As such, they are urging the public to destroy mosquito breeding areas and to practice hygienic lifestyles. Stella Fa'u adds they're concerned that people, especially young children, can lose their lives from dengue. However, Fa'u again highlighted the importance of destroying all mosquito breeding areas at homes or anywhere.
The tropical disturbance at TD01F is moving further away from Tonga with no threat to any of the island groups. According to Tonga Met Office, the tropical depression has now downgraded to only a heavy rain warning. However, Tonga will still experience heavy rain and strong winds until tomorrow morning. Tonga Met Office still reminds the public the importance of preparedness for natural disasters, as Tonga is now in the cyclone season. About 1 to 2 cyclones are predicted for this tropical cyclone season. A huge milestone for the Tongan youth diaspora in New Zealand has been re-established by 2 Tongan scholars who have made it to be one of the 9 Pacific young people that were recognized as recipients of the New Zealand Prime Minister's Pacific Youth Awards for 2022. Waiwhanatu Bola tells you more.
The 21-year-old Meleofa Kivila Mafi, the Daxon head girl of Tonga High School for 2019, was awarded with the International Scholar Award of the Year, while Emeline Lado received the Teaching and Education Award. Meleofa Mafi undertook her Bachelor of Engineering at the University of Auckland, and she hopes to pave the way as a Pacific woman in the engineering sector. Emeline Lado blew the challenges away with her mission to educate those around her about the importance of Tongan cultures and values. Emeline is studying towards a Bachelor of Arts majoring in education at the Auckland University of Technology and believes that being a teacher will give her the power to create change within the education system. The young recipients were awarded for their outstanding achievements in several fields, including being advocates for their language and culture, for leadership and entrepreneurship, and also for their efforts in the arts, education and the community. The awards were presented by Deputy Prime Minister Grant Robertson and Minister for Pacific Peoples Aupito William Sio at Parliament's office. However, since the launch of the Prime Minister's Pacific Youth Awards in 2010, they have played a vital role in recognizing and celebrating the outstanding achievement and excellence of Pacific young people aged 17 to 24 and enhancing the journey for those among the top of the young Pacific achievers in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Waiwhanatu Bola of the Radio and Television Tonga News.
With the border closures, Tonga is now vulnerable to regional and global diseases. As such, a new laboratory was opened at Viola Hospital as a way to protect the country from COVID-19 and other outbreaks. The Health Director, Dr. Siali Akaola, says the work carried out in the new laboratory is very important, as they can detect the type of disease Tonga will experience from future outbreaks. The laboratory is an assistance by the World Health Organization, funded by the Government of India and the United Nations. Dr. Akaola says the COVID-19 pandemic is not yet over, and the ministry is still conducting COVID-19 tests. As of now, Tonga is now facing its third wave from COVID-19 with no new restrictions imposed. However, with this new laboratory, Dr. Akaola says Tonga can now detect outbreaks that may occur in the future as borders are now opened. Inside the new laboratory is a negative pressure room, a storage room, a bathroom to be used by the staff so as to protect themselves and others around them from COVID-19 and other outbreaks in the future. The estimated cost of the new laboratory is about 1 million pa'anga. And the rate of young girls aged 10 to 17 who have been vaccinated from HPV is yet to reach 30%. HPV vaccine is to protect young girls from cervical cancer. Sister Fute from the Ministry of Health says they are disappointed with the results as many parents are against the vaccines, saying the HPV vaccine is to depopulate the world, but the Health Ministry clarified that this is not true. Despite this, the Health Ministry highlighted the importance for parents to make wise decisions for their children, as the health of their children depends on the decisions their parents make today. The ministry also reminds parents that this vaccine aims to protect young girls from having cervical cancer later on in life and adds that it does not affect the reproductive system. The concern is because this is the second highest cause of death for women in Tonga. So far, the ministry has yet to record anyone with any effects from the HPV vaccine. Now, before we pass, it's a final look at tonight's top stories. Body of missing men Talanoa Liakona Lemoto found dead mo Tuimatamoana market. Prime Minister urges graduates at TIOE to commit their best as the future of the students depends on them. And 2 Tongan scholars in New Zealand amongst the 8 recipients of the Prime Minister's Pacific Youth Award 2022. That's it for tonight. Thank you for your company. I'm Malia Gutenbell. Have a blessed evening.